This is the Little Moments Count radio podcast, created in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. Each episode, you'll hear interviews with early childhood experts on how to support the important brain development that takes place in the first 1,000 days of life, just through little moments every day. Learn more at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.
It's a good day to be Indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake.
Welcome to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. A kadagi to all my friends and relatives in 4 directions. You are listening to Native Roots Radio Presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Robert Pilot. We discuss local, national, Native news and events. And as you know, Native issues are human issues, and human issues are Native issues. And this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is brought to you by Native American Community Development Institute, or NACD, in Minneapolis.
Hey, we do have, we just have our friend Barb Fabre on, and welcome, Barb. So I know you're a little under the weather, so I really appreciate you coming on, and I just have to just do this quick read here. This episode of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnerships with Little Moments Count. Little Moments Count is a statewide collaborative focused on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development in the first 3 years. And Barb, I don't know, we're Facebook friends, but you see we have our grandchildren every Wednesday, and Wendy's working hard, and it's always great to have you on. And I just want to give you a quick bio, too. Barb is the CEO of Indigenous Visioning and All Nations Rise, and you're an enrolled member of White Earth Ojibwe Nation. And again, welcome, and thank you so much for being on.
Bonjour, I'm happy to be on. It's always fun to come here and visit with you all, and I learn so much when I go away, and hopefully I'm sharing information that helps you and others in Indian country.
Absolutely. Hey, I just want to start off, too, and congratulate you on the Ideas Grant. Can you share what this funding kind of means for Rise, All Nations Rise and Indigenous Visionings?
Sure. So we applied for the Ideas Grant, and that is through the St. Paul and Minnesota Foundation, as well as the Mardag and F.R. Bigelow Foundation. Ideas, it's a Community Ideas, which stands for Impact, Development, Equity, Agency, and Solutions. And we were selected out of 30 Native-led organizations that serve tribal communities. So we're very excited about it.
Wow, that's awesome. And again, when you're not on, I know we talk about Indigenous boxes and the things that you do that are so groundbreaking, simple, and awesome. What the Indigenous Box Project offers culturally based activities for young children. And let's talk a little bit about that, because I always love talking about that, and I always beg you too to do one for adults. Oh, wow.
Hey, great idea. Well, hopefully adults get something out of Indigibox as well, because through them, they're teaching the children the activities, the cultural activities, the language, legends. So hopefully, they're retaining that as they're sharing that out with the kids in their care.
Yeah, so talk a little bit about the caregivers too, not only the parents, but the ages are of birth to 3 that are incorporated in these daily routines. And again, I have to be, we're Ho-Chunk here, but the father's Ojibwe, so we might have to get one of those special delivered here.
Grandma here is Sicilian, so we do a little Italian, we do a little Ho-Chunk, we do a little Ojibwe, we do a little bit of everything here in the house with the babies. Yeah.
Yes. And one could be created for the Italian culture. I mean, it's endless what Indigibox could be, because we all have our own cultures, right? And we embrace them all, and some of us are blessed with many cultures. So that's what we highlight in Indigibox. So we designed it for early childhood up to grade 8, and our first boxes were for classrooms of 20, like Head Start or preschools, child care centers. But then as we learn more, other people wanted to also use it. And so the activities in our big boxes are for a classroom of 20 kids. And so family child care typically doesn't have 20 kids. Families don't typically have 20 kids. So so we're, with this new grant fund, we're able to expand it and create boxes just for family childcare, our families, and FFN, what we are, and as we care for our babies. So we're hopefully going to reach a broader population, our group, and it'll be less expensive than the full big box. And we're also doing some changes to how people can order Indigibox. Prior, it was a subscription box that classrooms received 4 times a year based on the seasons. However, now we're looking at putting everything up a la carte so that people can purchase what they want and the size they want. So we're really excited about that.
That is exciting, and I hope you come back, even if it isn't with not with Little Moments Count, but let us know when that comes up, because we'd really like to amplify that all across Turtle Island, and we'd probably like to get one too, Wendy.
Absolutely.
One or two, or subscribe. That is really good news, because we've been talking over the years, Barb, and we talk about your boxes all the time, even when you're not around. So
appreciate that.
Yeah, it's a great way to do it, and talk a little bit too about the early bonding with the language development, because we have a godchild, Wendy and I, that they are bilingual. They speak Spanish and English, and it took them longer, Wendy, to start talking, because they were their neurons in their brain were doubling up on 2 languages at once. They
can do that. Children from the early years, as you know, the brain is developed 80% by age 5. So whatever you're introducing to them, their brains are little sponges, and they're just soaking it up. And so by teaching 2 languages, it is like really intensifying their learning, and their brains are just going crazy, and that's super good for them. So,
what kind of authentic items, cultural items, are the key parts of Indigenous Box? I'd really like to know that. And again, I think the caregivers and the parents will be learning or relearning at the same time.
Yeah, so we want to make it authentic. So, we look for cultural items that are significant and a normal thing that Indigenous children see. The drum, and powwows, and just the teachings from the four seasons, which is pretty common across all Indigenous cultures. And so we want to make sure that whatever we're providing or purchasing for the cultural item in the box, that it's made from local crafters. And we are always looking for crafters. And so, any of your listeners out there, we hope if you're a crafter, get a hold of us at www.indigenousvisioning.com. And through the contact form, we'd love to hear from you and see what your craft is. You won't see any made in Japan items in the box. And, so we look to our tribal communities to help provide everything from the stories to the cultural item to the books. Everything in it is from Indian country.
And that's awesome, Barb, because we talk about powwows here, and we do powwows with Native Roots Trading Post too, and we always talk to our listeners and say, ask them who made this. When you go to a powwow, you can ask people who designed these earrings or who made these earrings, and if they can't tell you, it's probably not an Indigenous person. So that's really cool to hear that you just automatically are doing that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's so many talented people out there, and boy, you look at what the things they can make, and it's amazing. So we want to highlight that too, and then we also highlight our crafters in our books and our magazine, so that other people can purchase from them if they want to. So it's just something that is very natural for us, and we want to get away from that stereotype in the classrooms, and we want to teach the truth and the real Indigenous tribal communities and how beautiful they are and everything that comes from them.
That's beautiful too. And when we go for our walks, Wendy and I, we are picking up books on those libraries. But you always also have books paired with the activities that are part of Indigenous Box. And how can parents and caregivers very young use these books from Indigenous authors to foster, early literacy? And you talked a little bit about that, but specifically, how about books?
Yeah, we try to find books from Indigenous authors, our Indigenous publishers. We go to Indigenous stores like Birch Bark in Minneapolis. We purchase from them. So we're always on the hunt for those authentic books or anything else. And we just want to, again, highlight all the beautiful, talented people out there. And we do that through Indigibox while teaching, restoring our language and our teachings and our legends that our ancestors have passed down over centuries.
That's awesome. And one of the things, too, I'm picturing, and I don't know if you have shared with us before, but what does the box look like?
So we got brand new boxes that'll be on the website. We're super excited. My daughter, actually, she's an artist, and she created the artwork on the new Indigibox. And so that'll be up on the website soon. The grant allowed us to actually do things like that. We've been short-staffed and just haven't had a lot of time that we need to, incorporate Indigibox into the mainstreams of early childhood classrooms and elementary. So this grant just helped us immensely, rethink Indigibox to make it more accessible and affordable for families.
Hey, we're here with Barb Fabre, is CEO of Indigenous Visioning and All Nations Rise, and this is our portion of Little Moments Count, a statewide collaboration focusing on helping parents and caregivers learn about the importance of brain development. And we're going to be talking more about the grant and Indigenous Box. This is Native Roots Radio.
Stay with us.
Anine, I'm Lieutenant Governor Peggy Flanagan, and you are listening to Native Roots Radio.
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of Native Roots Radio is presented in partnership with Minnesota Public Radio and Little Moments Counts.
Hey, we are here with our friend Barb Fabre, and we're talking about a couple of things here. We're talking about the Ideas Award that Indigenous Box, Indigibox got, and that stands for Impact, Development, Equity, Agency, and Solutions. And a big congratulations, and so well deserved. And you're going to be able to ramp this up and in a better way for the caregivers and the parents. It's just a win-win situation. Welcome back.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here and share our good news. We were very excited to be selected and humbled because I'm sure all the other organizations were just as amazing. So, we're excited. We're going to be able to do Lakota and Dakota Box is going to be our next project. And it also aligns with our Family, Friends, and Neighbor program that we have. We have a lot of unlicensed childcare providers through our FFN, which you two are, and me and my husband are. We take care of our babies, our grandbabies. And sometimes it's for pay and sometimes it's not. And so we want to make sure, our FFN families are getting what they receive and the supports that they need as well. So we're super excited with both of our projects. We're incorporating Lakota and Dakota. So we'll be reaching out to the communities and the elders to get their perspective and help us build that.
That's awesome. We talk about this, but I think it's great to bring it up. And also it's good for me to listen. But we talk about the first year, 3 years from birth to 3 years, and how crucial language development is. And Indigenous Box supports and preserves or revitalization of our language, and that's so important. We can't and just kudos to you. It's just so important, and we've been talking about this kind of thing for years, but you're doing it.
Yeah, it was we learned from experience that there wasn't a lot of culture in early childhood programs. There's great websites out there, but not everybody accesses them. So we thought, what's the next best thing that we can bring into classrooms? And just imagine children, learning and the whole classroom's learning of an Ojibwe word, that they use in their home. Mm-hmm. And we're bringing back that pride to be Indigenous. And it's also, for non-Native children, they're learning about the diverse world, and they're learning mm-hmm. about community members.
Yeah, absolutely. And that cannot hurt, especially these days with a lot of our history being erased. So good on Indigibox and good on what you're doing. Hey, looking forward, how do you hope to work with Indigibox and All Nations Rise will impact lives of Indigenous children and their families during these crucial years? How can community members support this important work? And this is a call to action that we try to bring out, but it's also really, I don't know what the word is, but I'm trying to say that you guys deserve all the support you can get. So how can people support you?
Oh, I appreciate that. They can purchase our Indigibox for their classrooms or for their home, and share. Maybe they're a crafter again, and an author, and we'd love to support them as well. And, we the grant also allowed us to have an extra staff. So now we'll be able to get out on the road and take Indigibox out on the road to school districts, to conferences, to early childhood programs. So just help spread the word and go to our website and learn more. Our new website will be done shortly. We're working on it now. So that's another thing the grant allowed us to do, is to really spruce it up and make mm-hmm. it more user-friendly.
Do you want to give that out now, or is it under construction?
Well, it's our indigenousvisioning.com website, and on there they just click on the Indigibox button and it'll take them right there. So our old ordering process is up now, but in a couple months we'll launch our new website, and so hopefully everybody will check it out.
Mm-hmm. Well, come back on because we definitely want to.
Yeah, we're excited about
our
it.
grandkids are 10 months old. We need them. We need them sooner.
Do. Yes.
I'll send you my address.
All right.
Oh, we're excited.
And then maybe in a few years you'll do Ho Chunk. Hoa.
Oh, yes, we can. Yes, we can. It's, that is a dream. That is my big dream, is to have it in as many different languages that we can, because they're all beautiful and there's kids that can benefit from it, and classrooms that can benefit from authentic Indigenous stories and legends.
Well, we have a few minutes and I've exhausted my questions, but I have a question. How did you start this? And well, specifically, let's ask, how did you come up with Indigibox? And I think we talked about that a few years ago, but let's hear that story again.
Sure. After I worked for my tribe for about 30 years, and for mostly in the early childhood services, and my friend and colleague, Tammy Finn, and I started Indigenous Visioning. And we both left the tribe. She left Leech Lake and I left White Earth. And so we were like, she showed me one of her subscription boxes. I'd never seen a subscription box. So she showed it to me and we were like, geez, we should indigenize this. And, so we just, one thing led to another. So we created 50 boxes just to see if it's something, and sent it out to our networks. And within 4 days, we were sold out. So, and we were like, okay, this is something. So, and then we just start doing it. And honestly, some of our teachers, especially the non-native teachers, are so excited about it. They love it because, they're not sure of themselves when most of the classrooms require some sort of culture, and they didn't have anything. And if they're in a tribal community, they're just not unsure what to bring in. And then also to tie it to child outcomes, because as an early childhood classroom, you have to have outcomes with everything you do in there. So we made it easy, and we did that for them. So our new boxes will be tied to child outcomes through the Minnesota Early Learning Standards, Teaching Strategies Gold, and High Scope, which is one of the more popular curriculums in schools. So we wanted to make it easy for teachers, and we provide material that they won't find in the classroom, and we provide everything in there, and we offer teacher prompts so they can engage children in the learning of that lesson. So yeah, wow. It's from experience, because I monitored and ran several childcare centers, and so did Tammy, and so we knew there wasn't anything in there. So, and then we worked with Head Start programs. We knew it wasn't in there. Elementary, we knew it wasn't in there. So we just decided to try it, and it took off. It resonated with people, and they were appreciative.
Wow, I can see, because we're always excited when we talk about it. And Wendy's over here. I don't know, Wendy, have you heard about this before? I don't think you've been on
No, I haven't. I haven't.
On a Little Moment show with me.
Well,
that's exciting. And I just want to have one last question, because we got 30 seconds left. How many years have you been working on this to perfect this?
We're going on our third year of Indigibox.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so we have quite a few volumes of activities in there. And again, they'll all be up on the website soon. So you'll be able to see everything that we have in all previous Indigiboxes, and you can purchase them as you want them, a la carte.
Well, let me know so we get you on right away so we can purchase one.
We need to get you one, yes.
Please do. Thank you so much, Barb.
Thank you.
Barb Fabre and a Little Moments Count episode here. And this is Native Roots Radio, and we're going to see you tomorrow, Wendy.
See you tomorrow.
Thanks for listening to the Little Moments Count radio podcast in partnership with community radio stations throughout Minnesota. You can find the Little Moments Count radio podcast wherever you get your podcasts and at littlemomentscount.org/podcast.